I thank the representative of the Netherlands for his statement. I give the floor to the representative of Equatorial Guinea.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, the presence of very many illustrious persons here in the Security Council meeting bears witness to the extreme importance of the subject that we are discussing today, namely the non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. We would therefore like to congratulate and thank Kazakhstan for having included this item on its program of work. And we'd also like to thank the Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, for having shared with us his very clear-cut ideas. This report comes at a good time, Mr. President, since recent events in the world point to a difficult year for multilateral action in the area of disarmament and international peace and security. Last year, we were witness to renewed efforts to address a broad spectrum of issues related to non-proliferation, multilateral disarmament and international security, including questions of great importance with regard to cyberspace and activities in outer space. International security has continued to worsen at the same time as the world is facing immense challenges to peace and security. And here I'd like to stress the absolute importance of multilateral diplomacy in the area of disarmament, non-proliferation and international security, and reiterate that there can be no substitute for a multilateral approach to address global issues of disarmament in a sustainable manner, in accordance with the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter. As the international community continues to await the implementation of the goal of the total elimination of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction, we are also seeking other specific measures to achieve the goal of nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. Clearly, we have not achieved tangible results to date, which would help us to guarantee the goal of a world free of weapons of mass destruction. Mr. President, on the 20th of September 2017, the historic treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons was open for signature. Its adoption is a welcome stage in our search for a world free of weapons of mass destruction. I would like to stress here the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and stress our commitment, our shared commitment to the Treaty of Non-Nuclear Proliferation, the NPT. Both treaties are complementary and they point a clear path forward towards a world free of weapons of mass destruction. In Equatorial Guinea, we're very aware of the fact that in order to make significant progress in eliminating weapons of mass destruction, there need to be practical and global measures in place to build confidence. In effect, all member states, particularly the nuclear weapons possessing states, must commit to the existing regimens of transparency, dialogue, and verifiable notifications and reservations and military activities. Mr. President, more than 70 years have gone by since the world experienced the terrifying power of the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The destruction of these twin bombs is still resounding today. The unfortunate events left a legacy of devastation and a negative impact in the long term on the environment and fundamentally on the lives of those affected. Therefore, the time has come for the world to state unequivocally and unanimously that the goal is to guarantee a world free of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction. Also, the time has come to raise our voices against the slowness of nuclear disarmament and call upon all member states to meet their legal obligations and to implement the commitments undertaken by nuclear weapons possessing states. For Equatorial Guinea, our maximum priority continues to be nuclear disarmament and the total elimination of all weapons of mass destruction. To this end, the contribution of zones free of nuclear weapons to the goals of the NPT, including nuclear disarmament, as well as contributions to deal with nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation throughout all regions of the world, these efforts must be maintained and further developed. The treaties of Pelindaba, Tlatelolco, Rarotonga, Bangkok, and the nuclear weapons-free zone in Central Asia, as well as the nuclear weapons-free state of Mongolia, all of them contribute significantly to achieving a world free of nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction. They improve regional and global peace and security, they strengthen the non-proliferation regime, and they contribute to the realization of the goals of nuclear disarmament and the elimination of weapons of mass destruction. In this context, Mr. President, my country reiterates its ongoing commitment to the Treaty of Pelindaba, which entered into force on the 15th of July 2009. Amongst other things, the treaty reaffirms that Africa is a zone free of nuclear weapons, and it provides a shield for African territory and prevents the stationing of explosive nuclear devices throughout the continent and prohibits the testing of these weapons throughout the African continent. This year will mark the 32nd anniversary of the United Nations Regional Centre for Peace and Disarmament in Africa, UNREC, headquartered in Lomé, Togo. Despite its tight budget and limited resources, the centre has provided technical assistance to all states throughout the African region. In 2015, the centre brought together more than 1,000 representatives of governments and regional organisations, as well as more than 2,000 members of civil society, through a broad range of activities. The centre needs help to promote its mandate. We would like to congratulate the centre for its work, and we'd like to take this opportunity to ask for more alliances and more assistance to help it in its efforts and to guarantee that the centre can meet its mandate. My country, Equatorial Guinea, would like to stress the importance of the ongoing respect for the inalienable right to the use of nuclear energy for peaceful means, and we would like to highlight the central role of the International Atomic Energy Agency